and Toots' Tips heading down the home stretch for the college football season. 8-2 last week, 75-30 overall. And he is steaming hot this morning. Brought to you by the Huddle House. It is Toots' Tips, and Toots is a little bit under the weather this morning, and you get older, you need to take care of yourself a little bit better.
That's what everybody's telling me.
Yeah. Huddle House got the special today for veterans. 2 eggs, grits, and toast, absolutely free for you veterans from 6 until 2 today. And all you got to do is show them your military ID, and they'll take care of the rest for you. And Doug talked with him just a few days ago, and they're honoring our veterans just like we knew they would, right?
Well, I think, Jim, it's a great thing for what Doug has done. It's something he didn't have to do, but he's doing it just to show appreciation to our veterans who defend our country on a daily basis.
Of course, veterans dine a lot at the Huddle House, and you can get the specials every day, 24/7 at the Huddle House. Always open, always fresh. The Huddle House offering our veterans 2 eggs, grits, and toast absolutely free until 2 o'clock today. Well, let's get to Toots' Tips, and we begin in Norman, Oklahoma, with number 11 Oklahoma facing Baylor, and Baylor is probably hoping this season will end soon.
Well, I'm telling you, they fell on hard times. I don't know what happened, but boy, I'm telling you, when they made the U-turn, they made a U-turn.
They did
not. But I like the Boomer Sooners over the Baylor Bears.
Oklahoma playing much better.
Yes, they are.
They're ranked number 11, so we'll take the Sooners there. South Carolina at Florida, and Florida beaten last week.
Yeah, and a lot of surprises. I don't know what happened to Florida, but boy, they just sort of bit the bullet too. But the Florida Gators will take those little chickens and just shake the feathers out of them. Be real mad to come tomorrow. Kentucky,
who would have thought this would be a big game, but it is. Kentucky is at Tennessee at Rocky Top.
Well, Jim, this could be for the Eastern Division of the Southeastern Conference. Dobbs will probably have a great day. He'll have to have a great day. Kentucky's got a real good defense, but I like the Hound Dog.
All right, Tennessee over Kentucky. Kentucky has had a pretty good season, and that's that Stoops guy up there.
Yeah, Mark, I believe is his name. They had a bunch of them Stoops.
And when they played Alabama back several weeks ago, they didn't think a whole lot about it then, but they've run off some pretty good wins and should have beaten Georgia last week.
Sure.
But take Tennessee over Kentucky. Number 16, West Virginia, they were sailing right along there and then had everything come apart with them last weekend. They play at Royal Texas Memorial Stadium against the Longhorns on Saturday.
Well, Jim, I don't know. Again, we've been talking about Charlie Strong and the troubles he's had at Texas. The Mountaineers have been playing pretty good until recently, but I think Charlie Strong takes the Mountaineers to the woodshed in Austin, Texas.
I think Texas, their season and Charlie Strong's future at Texas is on the line every week now.
Well, I really do. I don't think he'll be there when we tee this thing up again next year. A lot of folks are disappointed. Texas is one of those schools, they win, pretty much like Alabama. And those folks over there, they just don't take kindly to that losing.
No, they don't at all. Number 2, Clemson. Takes on a team that has really surprised some people this year. The Pittsburgh Panthers pit at number 2 Clemson on Saturday.
Well, when they run down the hill, it'll be for real. The Clemson Tigers will take care of the Panthers.
All right, Clemson over Pitt on Saturday. Number 24 LSU at number 25 Arkansas in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Going to be a good football game. You got to wonder just how beat up is LSU after that Alabama game last week. Fournette didn't have a good game against Alabama. Arkansas lost their quarterback. I look for the LSU Tigers to take care of business.
Arkansas for the last several years has played really good late in the season.
They have. They've beaten LSU when they weren't supposed to.
But LSU over Arkansas. Mississippi. they've lost their quarterback, and they play at Texas A&M, who's lost their quarterback.
So a lot of quarterbacks been sidelined. A&M, boy, after that upset at Mississippi State, they'll be ready to go, quarterback or not. I think the Aggies will take care of business in Kyle Field.
You know, Mississippi, when they had their quarterback going, they were a formidable team. Remember, they had Alabama 21-3 or something like that. But really hadn't recovered from that loss. So A&M over Ole Miss. Number 4, Washington. They finally made that top 4, and they better watch it this weekend.
Yep.
USC, number 20, plays at Husky Stadium against the Huskies.
Well, if there's going to be an upset, it'll be this one. I look for the Trojans. A lot of folks don't think Washington is good, as their record indicates. Their strength of schedule has not been that tough. I look for the Trojans to go into Washington and take care of business.
Right. Take an upset with USC over Washington. Number 3, Michigan is at Iowa, and Iowa last year, they went to the Rose Bowl. A pretty decent team this year, but can the Hawkeyes knock off Michigan?
I don't think so. They got a pretty good football team. I've seen them play just bits and pieces watching them play. Michigan, I think Harbaugh's got them guys playing well, and I think Michigan, their eyes are set on the Buckeyes.
Yep.
So I think they'll take care of the Hawkeyes and then worry about the Buckeyes.
All right. Washington State, ranked number 23, and I saw where Coach Leach this week, he and President-elect Donald Trump are buddies, and he said he was going to be his Secretary of the Air or something. Secretary of Offense. He was going to be a Secretary of Offense. So Cal plays at number 23, Washington State, and the Washington State club, the Cougars, they're quite a story this year.
Well, they are, Jim, and Leach has got them playing extremely well. A lot of folks, including myself, I don't agree with his philosophy, but it works for him. But I think the Cougars will get it done.
All right, Toots' Tips brought to you by the Huddle House this morning on Highway 280, where you seniors veterans can get 2 eggs, grits, and toast absolutely free till 2 o'clock today over the Huddle House on Highway 280 in Sylacauga. Auburn with the longest, the longest rivalry in the South or something?
Oldest rivalry.
Oldest rivalry in the South. Auburn is at Georgia at Sanford Stadium, and the Bulldogs hungry for a win over the Auburn Tigers.
Well, Jim, historically in this matchup, the visiting team wins. Auburn,
they're the visiting team.
They are the visiting team. I don't know how well Chubb is going to play, if at all. I don't know about the Petway kid at Auburn, but if not him, Johnson should play well. White should be back and ready to go. So I think the Auburn Tigers win at Athens, Georgia, between the hedges.
Well, Auburn's a favorite at Athens. Georgia has beat Auburn the last 2 times, and the Bulldogs having a tough year under first-year coach Kirby Smart, and Auburn's defense, one of the top-ranked defenses in the country. Their defensive front very, very strong. Their linebackers good. I don't know if Chubb could run it against Auburn's defense anyway.
Well, I know, watching the Vandy game, boy, they got a good defense, and they shut him down. So Auburn's going to have to shut Chubb down. These intermediate passes that they throw so well, Auburn's going to have to do something that will present a problem to them. But I think Auburn's got enough offense to prevail over the Bulldogs. Can
Alabama not look past Mississippi State at Bryant-Denny tomorrow morning?
If they do, Jim, they're going to get beat. If they look powerful. I don't think that Coach Saban will allow that. They're coming off a big upset win over previously number 4 Texas A&M. A&M is not Alabama. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. The only team that's going to beat Alabama is Alabama. And I just don't think that the coaching staff there will allow that. I think Alabama will probably win going away.
Mississippi State coming into this game like a 28-point underdog against Alabama. And they've got a new quarterback, and they really like him. And the games that Mississippi State has lost have been close games.
Well, very close, and they've lost several games. Late in the fourth quarter, had leads and lost it. So they won't have a lead in the fourth quarter against Alabama. Alabama's just too good a football team. They're well coached. They got athletes just running out their ears, and the Foster guy that plays linebacker, I'm more impressed with him every time I see him play.
Do you agree with the second week ratings of the top 4 in the college football playoff?
I do now. I didn't understand why A&M was above an undefeated team, but again, you go back to the strength of scheduling that Washington has, and it don't compare to anything in the SEC. I think now they about got it right. Is it going to be the final one? I don't think so. I just think that somewhere along the way something's going to happen. If Washington gets beat tonight or tomorrow, you can look for Ohio State to jump in that slot. So
yeah, they're right outside the door now.
Them or Louisville won.
All right, that's Toots' tips. Toots 8-2 last week, 75-30 overall, and the Huddle House honoring our veterans today, and we salute our veterans as well.
Absolutely. And don't forget, we've got a big Veterans Day parade today.
That's right.
I think about 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, yeah. And I think Curtis and Son, they're involved in with veterans over at the
American Legion.
Yeah, American Legion later on in the morning as well. So look forward to all of that. Toots, thanks for being with us. And man, get well. And
I hope to.
When you spray that stuff in your mouth, spray it in your mouth, not over here at me, okay?
Just do it the wrong way.
More Daybreak just ahead as we continue after this.